Hello and welcome to Hookstone Cacti. In this video we're looking at the Echinocactus grusonii cactus, the cacti of that species that I've got in my collection. So we'll start with the big one. So this is our big one. Had this particular plant for just over 7 years. I got it as a birthday present. And even though it's got some nice growth, there is some damage that you can see between the ribs that have just occurred, but other than that, it's a relatively healthy plant, and this will continue to get much bigger. You can see that the centre there has got some nice growth, fresh wool coming up, fresh spines, so it's still growing. So these guys can get very big. So we've just got another plant here, sort of a younger one, so it's not quite grown into its spines yet, which is why the spines appear to be longer, but this is just the normal form still, and the centre is got a bit more fresh set spines rather than the wool on the big one, so it might be slightly different. So you've got the two normal forms here. So another name for the Echinocactus grusonii is the golden barrel, which is more evidence why with this younger one here, because the spines are very golden. Another name for it is also the mother's-in-law's cushion. So although the Echinocactus grusonii, the most common form, is relatively easy to find in cultivation, because it seems just to be everywhere, and you can even find them at garden centres and DIY shops here in the UK. They are actually listed as endangered by the IUCN Red List in the wild, where they're found in central Mexico, mainly due to overcollection, habitat loss due to building, and even habitat loss due to building of dams and flooding caused by them. They've also been genetically tested, and they found that the Echinocactus grusonii falls somewhere between the Echinocactus genus and the Ferrocactus genus. So here's some of my Ferrocacti. So you've got the Ferrocactus glutatans here, which is one of the ones that's most similar to them. We'll go back to the golden barrels here. So the genetic testing showed that they were between the Echinocactus and the Ferrocactus genus. Yes. So it was decided that they'll have their own monogenus. So the monogenus is genus where there's only really one species in it. So the new name is the Echinocactus grusonii, which is slowly being accepted, even though I believe the genetic test was done about 10 years ago. I have yet to change it in my catalogue myself, although Though in the British Cactus and Succulent Society Handbook of Shows, the newest edition, it is recognised as part of the Echinocactus group, which is for showing purposes, which is where it was anyway. So now we'll look into some other forms. So another form here, which is the Capistruensis, and it's got a field number bottom there. So this is just a slightly different form of the golden barrel, where spines are slightly a bit more white. It's not quite the albus spinous form, which I currently don't have, but it has got slightly longer inner spines if you compare it to this one, which is more about the same size and age. So the field number, I've looked it up, found in Zacatecas, Mexico, 1934. So the population of this particular species was found in 1934. And then behind it here we've got the Echinocactus grusonii river spinus, which is the short spine version. Here. So this plant that I've taken to shows and entered in the Echinocactus grusonii class, and it has won first prize, beating some others, some normal form ones. This guy's also got a couple of first prizes also in that class, but I'm going to admit he was the only one in that classes. But this guy actually did manage to beat some others, including this big guy once, because he doesn't really have the markings in between, and I guess he also probably got a point for rarity. But we'll look at the handbook of shows potentially in another video. And then here we've got Echinocactus grusonii intermedius, which is the short-spined version. So the spines are slightly thicker and they curl down the plant and curl around it. It's not the long-spined, curly-spined version. Just doing research, I found that one as well. But it's another interesting form of this common cactus. And finally, we got this one. So this one is quite special, as it's a monstrosus form, or freely offsetting form of it. So this is Echinocactus grusonii michaelis, which I believe is named after the person who was lucky enough to either grow this from seed or find an offset off a plant from it, and to be able to then mass produce it. I think it was first discovered around about 10 years ago, and as it offsets easily, it was just propagated. It was just propagated and rooted up, or even grafted to do this. So I got this plant last year for, I would say, around, I think it was 18 quid in the end, from a nursery who imported them. So these offsets can be, like I said before, you can twist them off or cut them off to propagate them. I have tried it in the past when I first got it, but none of them survived. They did root, but I sort of forgot to water them a bit, or didn't left them too long without water, so then after they rooted they did die, sadly. But as you can see, there's lots of offsets on this one, so when the growing season restarts I'll give it another shot, because it's always best to take cuttings and offsets when your plants are in their full growth after a water. So I'll do that when the season restarts. So with this particular form as well, you noticed that it has more tubercles with the spines at the end of it, and that's also where the offsets are coming off, and it's very heavily walled, so it's got lots of wool and very tiny short spines. That seems to be lacking the central spine. So if you compare it to the big ones, you've got that rib where the spines are, and you sort of got the ridges, like the bumps on the ribs. And this one's more beside with the tubercles, with the spines, and where the offsets are coming from, and then the offsets are even offsetting themselves. So there'll be plenty to propagate from. So potentially show that in a future video. So that's my golden barrel collection. I'll do more collection videos like this, showing certain species and genuses going forward in between my repotting videos. So if that's something you'd like to see, please subscribe, and hopefully you'll hear my voice again in a future video.